So here's the Danskar A668, a 9.6-inch mirror dashcam introduced at a price of less than $50, or should I say less than 5,000 Indian rupees. Let's quickly open up the box. So here's the mirror dashcam. It gets these two strap holders at the backs which can adapt to your internal rear view mirror. You get this reset slot, and here is the main lens module. So the lens module goes up and down and left and right, and also slides outside, which means even slightly larger internal rear view mirrors can be adapted to this lens module. On top of it, this being rotatable up and down and left and right is also a good thing to give this a proper angle. At the bottom you get this power button, and on top of the mirror camera you get this mini USB AV in port for the rear camera, and you get a micro SD card slot. At the front you get this 9.66-inch 2.5D curved touchscreen display. The good thing about this display is that this gets an anti-glare technology. So you can see that the border of this display is like slightly elevated, so it has got this anti-glare coating right here on top of the display. So that's going to be helpful during night drives when there are like high beam headlights focusing on the particular mirror. So this is definitely going to give you a very clear view of the rear. Here's the rear camera, which gets this metallic mount and two screws which can be tightened to give the mount a proper place. So this camera is like basically built to be mounted outside the car near the rear bumper. You can of course mount this inside as well if you prefer to do so, but it's designed to be mounted outside. You get this AV in port at the other end which plugs in into the main front camera. You also get this reverse signal cable, that's the red wire which you need to plug in into the reverse gear or reverse light of your car. Along with it you also get a sticker for the metallic mount, and you get some screws if you want to fit the rear camera directly to the bumper. So here's the main power cable which gets a pre-attached 12-volt socket, and on the other end you get this mini USB port which plugs in into the main front camera. You also get an additional cable which gets a 12-volt car charger and a ACC VCC cable along with a grounding clip. Lastly, in the box you get these two rubber straps which are going to help you to adapt this mirror dash cam onto the internal rear view mirror of your car. So let's move on and take a look at the on-screen settings of the Danskar A668. So here's the dash cam now currently started off. On the left side you can see the front camera view. On the right side you can see the rear camera view. And the good thing about this dash camera is that this is a touch screen based dash cam, which means you can easily swipe between the various different views. So currently just moved on to the front camera. Now you have the rear camera. Now you have a picture in picture mode wherein the front camera is being shown in the entire display and the rear camera comes up in a small box right here. You can switch between that, so you can have the rear camera on the display and you can have only the front camera in the picture in picture small display. Swiping back you get to the original orientation which we saw at the beginning of the video. One more thing which you need to note is that once you swipe and you have like a certain focus of either the front or the rear, you can swipe the camera angle up and down depending on your requirements. So if you want to see the sky, just swipe it up. If you want to see much of the road, you can just swipe down. Similar effect applies to the rear camera as well. You can swipe up and down based on your requirement, based on your convenience, to adjust the angle which is more suitable for your requirement. So right here on top of the display you have the brightness control. You just need to press the down button right here so it goes to the lowest brightness. You can press the high brightness button for high brightness. So let me just currently set it to low. You have the home button, record button, snapshot button, emergency lock and a volume button. So this is going to give you that keypad sound. On the left side you have the recording status indicator, you have the time, you have the date, and on the right side you have some other notifications being shown up. So let's just first head into the home button, and this is where you get access to the settings of the camera. So you have the Danskar logo right here, again showing you the date, time and day. You have four basic options: car DVR, photograph, playback and settings. So let me just first head into the settings. So zooming in into the camera a bit more, first of all you have the streaming media option. You can select all front, all rear, front big, rear small, rear big, front small. Basically the camera view which you want to have on the display screen. You can do that, or you can select that in the settings menu, or you can straight up do that using the touch screen right up on the display. Then you have the volume setting 0, 1, 2 and 3. Let me just currently set it at 2. Then you have the video resolution option. So you have Full HD for front, then you have 1080p and 1440p 1080p, then you have 720p. Then you have the photo quality or the snapshot option, wherein you can select the resolution of the image to be either a 3 megapixel 1536p image or a 2 megapixel 1080p. Let me just select the 1536p for now. Then you have the loop recording option, 1 minute, 2 minute and 3 minutes. Then you have the exposure compensation. I would recommend keeping it at 0. Then swiping down, you have the night vision option. You can select it to on. You have the motion detection. You can select it to on. Then you have the recording audio, basically the mic option, set it to off or on based on your requirement. Then you have the language option. So you have 4 different languages, currently selected English. Then you have the auto screen off, basically the screensaver mode. So you can set this off, which means the display will always be on. You can set it to 1 minute, 3 minutes or 5 minutes, after which the display will turn off. Then you have the luminance settings to high, medium or low. Following that, you have the date and time settings. Then you have the format SD card option. Then you have the restore factory setting option and the firmware information for this dash camera. Heading back, you have the playback option. So here is where you get to see the recorded files. So you can like basically swipe between the various different recorded videos and you can like play them back whenever you need to do so. You have the photograph option. So this is going to give you an area where you can just click a photo whenever you want. Following that, you have the car DVR, basically comes back to the main screen wherein you can like switch between the various different views and set the particular display which you want to record. So this was like the complete overview of the on-screen settings for this camera, but there is still something which I need to show you. So if I do engage the reverse gear of my car, I get a reverse camera view right here with guidelines. So the good thing about this reverse camera view is that again I can just swipe the view up and down and adjust the camera angle based on how I need it. Along with the fact that we also have this button right here, and if you do click on this one, you get to see an ultra wide view like compressed into this small 9-inch display. So there's no up and down in this, but you have this ultra wide view and you can adjust the guidelines just like as you're seeing right now. But if you want a more close-up view, you can just switch to the different view and even adjust the guidelines using the button given right here. So you have a very flexible and a very adaptable reverse camera view display straight up on your screen under the price bracket of 5,000. This is simply amazing. So 2 different views, an ultra wide angle view or a closed in, a bit more zoomed in view. You have the convenience of choosing either of them, along with the fact that the guidelines are adjustable up and down based on your requirement. And if I disengage the reverse gear, the camera switches back to the original mode which it was set at before engaging into the reverse view. Lastly, here's one more very important thing which I need to show you. So right here at the bottom of this mirror dash cam, there is a button here, basically the power button, and if I just press it once, the display turns off straight away. So in case if you don't want the display to be on, if you feel that it's kind of distracting you, all it takes is just a press of a button and the display will turn off, and this becomes your regular old internal rear view mirror, after which you can just like move it around and focus it towards the rear windshield to have your usual view which you normally have in your internal rear view mirror. But if you want the camera to be back on again, just press the button at the bottom and boom, you're back to where you started. The camera gets its view back. So this is a very thoughtful and a very convenient feature that Dansker has provided within this dash camera. Another cool thing which I needed to show you is that this camera has an anti-reflective coating, which means headlights coming in from the rear will have reduced glare compared to what you would have in an otherwise normal mirror dash cam. The glare effect is very reduced because of the anti-glare coating, and that's also going to help you during night drives with cars that have high beams that are focused towards you from the back. So considering all of these features, considering all of these aspects, and more importantly considering the budget of this dash cam, definite must buy to those who are looking for a mirror dash cam under the 5,000 budget segment. So moving on to take a look at the video quality, the front camera shoots a full HD resolution at 30 frames per second, has a bitrate of about 32,000 kbps and a file size of about 230 MB per minute. And as you can see, the camera, since it's mounted on the internal rear view mirror, it has a different perspective when you compare it with traditional windshield mounted dash cams. Nevertheless, the camera has a good field of view, covers a large area in front of the car, although in terms of exposure might be a bit lesser, contrasty maybe a bit more, does need a bit more of sharpness. And considering this is a base level footage, this is an entry level footage, and since this camera comes in the entry level segment, nothing much to complain against. For everyday day-to-day purposes, for just a dash cam footage in terms of having to be used as evidence, this is kind of sufficient, kind of average footage, and should be good enough for the price you're paying for this camera. Moving on to take a look at the nighttime footage, the darker areas look more darker and the brighter areas which are covered due to headlights or street lights look brighter. But overall, it's actually better than what I would expect from a camera at this budget range. Although it does have that characteristic blobbing effect of that high glare from the headlights coming in from the opposite direction. That's expected at this price range, nothing wrong in that. And considering this is an entry-level dash cam, this is a more than enough footage for a front camera, has a decent level of contrast and sharpness. So you have this very decent looking footage for both day and nighttime. And considering this is an entry-level dash cam which provides you so many other features which are like available mostly in the premium segment, this video quality is something which you really cannot complain against. Moving on to the rear camera quality, so this shoots a HD resolution, that's 1280 into 720p at 30 fps, and as you can see, at a close range you get an excellent number plate read when like the vehicles are very close to the camera. In terms of color balance, in terms of color saturation, and in terms of contrast levels, may be a bit varying here and there, doesn't have the most natural look, but most of it is to be contributed to the factor that this doesn't have a full HD resolution, rather gets a HD resolution. That being said, still it does get a 20,000 kbps of bitrate and a file size of about 150 MB per minute. The field of view is also still good, close to about 120 to 130 degrees wide angle. So covering a large area behind the car should be good enough for this camera. And considering this is a rear view camera, providing you an instantaneous feedback at the rear, so this is a decent camera. This is a workable camera for the price this one trends at. Moving on to take a look at the nighttime video footage from the same 720p camera, you do see some grainy effect within this, and that's again still expected for this is a HD resolution camera. You have this high glare effect at the middle of the screen due to the headlights of the vehicles that are facing towards the camera. So overall, I feel the daytime footage from both front and the rear cameras is way better and way more usable when you compare it with the footages from the front and the rear during night time. So if you're someone who drives your car more during daytime and very less during night time, this might just be the right dash camera for you. So based on my personal usage, I can surely say that this is a total value for money dash cam. There's no other dash cam which offers you a 9.6-inch touchscreen display along with reverse view within that particular price range. So if you are someone who is specifically looking for these features, who wants to have the front camera view and the rear camera view being streamed on the internal rear view mirror, along with the fact that you can easily turn off the display whenever you want, this is a definite must buy because this camera is amazing in that particular usage. So if you are interested in grabbing this dash cam, it's currently under discount and you'll be getting it at about $49.99 US. That's close to 4,500 Indian rupees. The purchase link is given right down below in the description. And if you do have any doubts or queries regarding this camera, just go ahead, write that down in the comments. I'll try to get back to you as soon as possible. And if this video has helped you out, I'm quite sure it has, go ahead, hit that subscribe button of my channel right now, smash that like button and share this video with all your friends who are looking for a mirror dash cam under the budget segment. See you in the next one.